What's up everybody, this is Gambrous and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Now, today we are going to be continuing with what we did before, which was we built a rocket to try and get into orbit, so we're going to be doing that again today. So, I had it loaded onto the launch pad. I was planning on just doing it straight into a next episode so I wouldn't have to faff around with it, but there was a few things I wasn't quite happy with on the rocket, which we will see now. So, we're just going to resume the save. We called it recording. We'll just go into here. Now, okay, so we're going to our vehicle assembly building. I think I explained all these buildings last episode, so I'm not going to go through them again. Alright, so we're going to load it, and I think we called it the orbiter, that's one. Orbiter 1. So let's just load this. And this is our rocket we made. Now, I did mention before on the last video that this thing is actually probably capable of not only getting into orbit, but probably capable of getting to Minmus as well. Or, sorry, I think I said the Mun. I could probably do both, to be honest. It would be better suited for Minmus than the Mun. But we won't... I was thinking maybe we would just make it straight up a lander and do that, but I think I'd rather not, because although we could do it, I think I'd rather do a progressive. So we'll probably just send this thing into orbit and back down again, but this should be more than capable of achieving orbit, and who knows, if we get into orbit we may do an orbit around the Mun, but we probably won't land, or just do an orbit and then come back again. But yeah, we might do that, because it depends how much fuel we have left in this main stage by the time we get up there. I anticipate having a fair amount, but we'll see. So this thing is almost ready to go, but I did say there was a few things I wasn't happy with, actually mainly just the one. And it's this lower stage here doesn't have any RCS thrusters, and that would be really awkward to try and turn it without any RCS thrusters here. It's only got little winglets, so what we're going to do is just going to move these winglets up to give it a little bit more stability during flight inside the atmosphere. And I just completely lost the symmetry tool there. Alright, so we're just going to angle snap it and get the symmetry tool, and there we go. Oh look, we just finished downloading Game of Thrones, Telltale Games. You can expect a series on that, by the way. That's I'm going to enjoy doing that. I'm a massive Game of Thrones fan, so yeah, that'll be done. Right, so we're going to go into control, RCS thrusters, do them 4. I'm just going to stick them on the bottom here, and this should help us turn in orbit, and that hasn't worked. There we go. There we go, that should help us turn in orbit. I'm not really sure on the placement of these. I'd rather have them more central, but the winglets are in the way. I just move those winglets to the side. I can always stick them on later. Those are too high up though. Ideally I'd like them to be about there, but that's right in the way of these winglets, look. I don't really know any way around this, to be honest. The winglets aren't going to fit in like that. That would look really weird if I did that. Could put them there, maybe? That just looks ridiculous. I don't know. What if we have the winglets back down here? Yeah, I didn't really put much thought into this, apparently. We've had the winglets there. That's really where we want the winglets, right at the bottom. But this RCS now is too high up. See, it's just... You know what, guys? We're feeling lucky. We're going to go with just the RCS up there. One thing I am going to do is, once again, I'm going to change back to symmetry mode of 4. And there we go. I suppose I could be using the hotkeys for that. I don't know why I keep going down there. Alright, so this is the Orbiter 1. It really is a bit OTT, to be perfectly honest, but this should be more than capable of getting us into orbit around the Kerbin, and probably the Mun or Minmus if we so chose, but we won't. Well, we will, we might, we'll see. Probably will actually, but we'll see what happens. So, yeah, I'm already getting into too much talking, so let's just load this onto the... Oh, wait, first save it, and now we go onto the launch pad. Okay, so here we are, we're on the launch pad. So we're just going to throttle up. And we're going to also... that's the other thing I was thinking I could do actually, was put an SAS module on this to help with control. Do we really want to go back to the vehicle assembly building and do that? Nope, forget it. We're just gonna go with the built-in SAS in this command pod and hope it's good enough. Yeah, so you can add more SAS for more control with more stages. So this isn't too much of a complex rocket, so hopefully it'll be okay. And we're just gonna go with this layout and see what happens. So you notice I put my throttle up there. There's a few things you can do with throttle, by the way. X kills the throttle automatically. Z puts the throttle up to 100% instantly. Control throttles down, and Shift throttles up. So yeah, we're just gonna go straight to 100. We've got it at max. We've got the SAS on. We're good to launch, guys. So sometimes if you've got a big rocket, you'd have load launch clamps, but this is a pretty straightforward rocket, so we're just going to try it launching straight from the launch pad. So here we go in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there it goes. It's away. Now it's important to note that we want to be efficient with our fuel, so I am actually going to throttle down when we get to around about 200 meters per second, which you can see down here in this nav ball, and we're going to reach that pretty quickly actually. So yeah, these rockets are pretty hardcore rockets. So we're going to start throttling down now. Wrong button. I'm going to start throttling down now. And you see we're starting to lose speed there. That's really important. And we want to keep it around about 200, so we're going to start pick up speed again. I'm going to start to drop the speed again. Try and keep it roughly at 200. And this is going to save fuel now. See, we're going to be burning through our fuel a lot less, and we lose some velocity, but we're gaining it back once we, getting higher up. The atmosphere is not having so much of a toll. Getting through this first stage of the atmosphere is where you burn a lot of your fuel. Once you're through that, getting a bit high on the old speed there. Once you burn through that, it's pretty easy. So there you go. Those two boosters have gone. So we're just going to decouple those. They're just going to drop down to the planet nicely. And now you can see that this one engine is not doing the work we wanted it for. So we're going to throttle up a little bit, get some more speed going, throttle down again to try and save some fuel. And we are on, in fact, we are out of this atmosphere. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, with the SAS on, just going to tilt slightly just to get us some slight. There we go. It doesn't want to do that at all. Terrific. Let's take the SAS off a second. There we go. We want to be positioned there. Alright. This is a real pain. It just, yeah, it doesn't like that at all. So if we press M, we can have a look at our orbital map. And here we are. There's the continent, there's the Kerbal Space Center, and there's our apoapsis. We want to get that roughly to around about 100 meters. So it's going well. It's going well, all things considered. What we're going to do now is we are going to try and tip a little bit more, just towards the 45-degree mark. And yeah, things are going well. I like what I see. Don't like this. We've used a lot of fuel. Maybe we won't be going to Mun or Minus after all. I may have been overconfident in my rocket design. Or maybe I was just incompetent with my managing of the fuel, which is going to be more likely, if I'm going to be honest. So yeah, if we just have a look at our orbital map again, we're actually going to kill the engines because we are way far away from our apoapsis, so we're not really doing much other than gaining some slight distance away from the planet's surface, and that's not really worth it. So if we just let ourselves glide, and when we get to, okay, we're at T-minus 40, so what we're going to do is we're going to burn again. I'm just going to tilt ourselves slightly towards the 45-degree mark, and throttle up. Let's get that going. And that's getting further away from us again, so when we get to 45, we're going to kill the engine. There we go. This is really not a good way to do orbits. This is just how I do it. It's not the most desirable way, should we say. And yeah, looking at this rocket, there's no way we're going to be able to get to the Mun or Minus. I was really just overconfident with my rocket design there. Ooh, we need to burn again. Let's get that throttle up. Let's get some more distance. There we go, 55, 56, 57, kill that. So we can get a bit closer and burn. In fact, if we get the nav ball up here, we can do that on this stage. And we're going to sort of aim a little bit more horizontal now, and we're going to try and just get an orbit because I'm through with trying to. Have my engine burnt out? Yeah, it has. Okay, alright, that's alright. We've still got this stage, so that's fine. This is perfectly fine for trying to get us into orbit, I think. I think it'll be okay. Let's have a look at this fuel tank. maybe. Well, we'll see. We might not actually achieve an orbit here. The Orbiter 1 might have actually failed in its mission, which is, you know, not going to be quite what we wanted. We have passed our apoapsis now, which is still really not good at all. So I'm just going to tilt ourselves downwards. This is really just not good. What's our fuel like? This engine is a little bit more efficient than those engines we were using, so the fuel consumption should be a lot less, but it's also got a lot less thrust. So it's going to be interesting. We might make orbit. We might. Let's see. Things. Yeah, that apoapsis is really. I would have preferred that. Yeah, this is bad. This is really bad. Let's try and point a little bit upwards. Try and get some distance, but also get some height, because if we have an orbit that's too low, we are just going to smack back into the planet again. And now you can see we're bringing our apoapsis forwards. This is good. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's going to be okay, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to tip ourselves a little bit more horizontally to try and get an orbit. And you can see now this is starting to look like it might become an orbit after all. So things are happening. Good things are happening. How are we doing with fuel? Ooh, this is not good. This is yeah, this is really not good. Oh, well, there we go. Our apparatus is getting a little bit carried away, and so we're gonna cut the engines, and we are so close to an orbit, guys. So close. We are definitely gonna get this orbit if we just tilt ourselves down, and we wait for our apoapsis to appear. So we're just going to speed up time a little bit, just a smidge. So just come on, get ourselves closer to this apoapsis. We are almost in position to tilt ourselves horizontally. Here we go. And we're just going to fire up that engine just for the final bit of thrust, and ooh, kill that. Alright, so we've got a periapsis of 68 and apoapsis of 119. You see, it's pretty easy to get into these long different distances once you're in orbit. It's just getting into orbit that's the problem. I really had anticipated being in orbit with a lot more fuel. Certainly I didn't anticipate being in orbit on this stage. So that's kind of annoying, but yeah. So it is going to be just an orbital flight. There's no way we're going to reach the Mun or Minmus. It's not going to happen. Interestingly enough, actually, this rocket would have been perfect for landing on certainly Minmus, possibly even the Moon. It's got a good engine for landing, and also it's got decent enough thrust. Oh, we're still on time warp there. Let's turn that down. So yeah, it would have been pretty good, but nevertheless, it wasn't to be. So there we go. So here we go. We're in space, and I did say last time, I think, that if we got into space we would do an EVA, and we're in space, so Jebediah, you are going to do an EVA. So we're just going to let go of the spacecraft and put his RCS on, which is his little jetpack thing, and there we go, we have control. He can float away from his spacecraft if he so wishes. We could, if we really want to kill him, push him into the planet's orbit. Or we could get him lost in space if he drifts too far away from his spacecraft, which he is starting to do, so I'm going to bring him closer, because, oh my goodness, we might actually lose him. Oh, sorry. We don't want him to slam into the spacecraft either, that would also be bad. So he's now having a nice little EVA, and this, guys, if this your first orbital flight, is key in the science. It really does help a lot. With your science, you can do EVA missions which give you lots of scientific points, which allow you to unlock lots of different cool stuff. But like I said, we're in sandbox, so we don't have to worry about that. You can see there, we look like we're getting close, but then because it's 3D, we pan down, and there we go, it's right underneath us. So yeah, there are controls for the space for the RCS are pretty cool. They're pretty standard. It's WASD, and up is space. Is it? No. Up is shift? Yeah, up is shift and down is control. And oh, he's going to hit the spacecraft. Oh, there we go. He just missed it. So we're just going to try and get him into his little hatch, wherever the crew hatch is. I'm not 100% sure, actually. Because he might be starting to run low on fuel. No, he's got tons of EVA power. Oh, pay attention. Ah, that's the crew hatch under there. Okay. It's a little bit awkward. There we go. Going forward slightly. Try and kill some of that vertical velocity. Oh, there we go. There we go. Come on, come on. No, and oh, grab it. There we go. Alright, so we've got him back on board. And that was a nice, fun little EVA mission for Jebediah Kerman. Alright, so yeah, that's the basics of getting into orbit. There's not really much more I can say on that, to be perfectly honest, guys. Other than deorbiting, which we will do now. So, you may have noticed, by the way, I was burning kind of towards this little node here. That helps you burn in the direction of your apoapsis, gets you longer, bigger altitudes and stuff like that. If you want to get out of orbit, you just do a spin all the way around. No, you get to this other node on the other side, and this is just what we call I can't even remember what it's called now. It's gone. The words have escaped me. It's an opposite burn. So we will be burning ourselves back down to the ground. Essentially, it's going to go against our current direction that we are heading. We're heading that way, so we're going to burn, and we're going to start going that way, and it's going to kill our altitude. It's the effect it's going to have, which is what we want, because we want this craft here to go into the ground. There's a lot of fuel on. Well, I say a lot of fuel. I mean, it's hard to tell at this stage, but bearing in mind we are in space, we don't need much thrust to do anything, so there's a fair amount of fuel there. Maybe enough to make it to the moon. But I'm not going to chance it, because even if we do and we get ourselves into orbit, which will burn more fuel again, there's no way we'd have enough fuel to get back, and I don't really want to lose Jebediah on his first mission. So we are just going to burn. So we're going to go here, and we're going to do a what's it called? A reverse burn? Counter burn? I don't know. So if we go onto our map, we can see there we've got that nice little sphere, so we can see what we're doing. And if you just watch our orbit now, it's going to just dive straight into the planet. You see there, we're losing our periapsis. That's going. It's into the planet now. And yeah, so we're going to come down actually over here, and so let's kill the engine. Let's try and aim for a water landing. Where's the space center? The space center is over here, on the bit that looks a little bit like Africa. So we are definitely going to miss that. We are, yeah, we're on the wrong side of everything. Pretty much, we are on the opposite side of the world or the opposite side of Kerbin. We certainly will be by the time we land. It's going to be pretty much the opposite side of Kerbin. However, when we do land, and I'm just going to speed up time a little bit, so we can head towards our landing site, we're probably going to get around to daytime. I think, maybe? No, okay, no, we're going to be landing in the night. Okay, cool. That doesn't really make much of a difference. It's not like we're trying to properly land this craft with landing gear and everything. We're just gonna, when I say land it, we're gonna smash it into the ocean slowly, of course, with this with its parachute. Yes, indeed. But yeah, we will be coming down. So I'm just gonna speed up time. Yeah, I know it can cause problems. Let's just keep going, because otherwise it's gonna take forever. And we're gonna go out of our map view and into our orbital, I guess, view. Yep. So here we're in the atmosphere now. You're about to probably witness some re-entry stuff when we get a little bit further down into the lower areas of the atmosphere. This part of the atmosphere is so thin, it almost acts like space. It doesn't really provide much pressure at all. And even this part of the atmosphere there, you see we're entering the thicker atmosphere now. But even this part of the atmosphere isn't really that thick. And when we get into the lower part of the atmosphere, I'm going to just slow down this time acceleration, because time accelerating in this part of the atmosphere can be dangerous. So here we are. We're into the lower atmosphere now. Things are looking quite close. Space is looking quite far away. And all we're going to do now is we're done with this stage. Even though there's a little bit of fuel left, can't help that. So we're just going to go to our decoupling stage, and that's just going to float away and splash down in the ocean somewhere. And we are just going to spin the capsule. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're not going to spin the capsule. I don't quite know why that happens. That's weird. Just being able to spin the capsule. We could probably turn our SAS off, actually. That's not really going to do much for us now. Oh, we are getting quite low, so I'm going to drop the drag chute. And this drag chute should probably stay like this in the drag form and killing our velocity until we get to around about probably 500 meters, I imagine. At which point it will deploy into a full chute and our G's will go up slightly and Jebediah will have a sore neck, maybe some whiplash, and the chute will open and ultimately we'll just crash down to the ocean and it will be glorious. So that debris is 700 meters away, so it's not quite gonna be. Wait, where is it? Yep, there it goes. See, there it splashed down to the ocean. There goes our chute at around about 500, like I guessed, and we're just going to gracefully land. 6.5 meters per second. That's going to be fine. That's plenty. You can really splash down a lot higher speeds. I know I have done. I've even splashed down. I think I went into the ocean with a 13 or 14 meters per second, and that was with a rocket attached because I forgot to put a decoupler on this bit. You'll probably see me forget at some point during my playthrough here. I'm really bad at remembering to put decouplers straight after the pod. But yeah, so we were anyway. The longest moral of the story is we were fine anyway. It floated enough that we were able to recover our vessel and our Kerbonaut with it. So yeah, going right down here now, 80, 70, 60, I say that, actually I was premature, 50, 40, and here we go. Here's the ocean coming up to meet us, or we're going to meet the ocean, and there we are, splash down straight into the ocean at 0 meters. There we go. Yeah, it's only on Kerbal where you can splash down at 0 meters as far as I'm aware, and only in the ocean at that as well. I think I've landed on hills before 300 meters up. It's crazy. But yeah, normally when you're in the moon, you normally land a lot higher up. And now we're just going to spin in the ocean. Woo! Yeah, let's not do that. Alright, okay, well that's done. So now we're just going to go down here and recover the vessel. And yeah, let's give us a little bit of a report about what we can actually harvest, what we can bring back. There we go, we've got Jebediah. We didn't get any science because it's not part of this game. Parts, again, it doesn't really matter, it's sandbox, so we don't have access to that. But you can kill Kerbals in sandbox still, and you have to recruit more. Jebediah is available, however, he survived, so there we go. That was our first orbital mission. We did make it in the end, although it wasn't anywhere near as successful as I deemed it to be. I thought we would be sure into orbit with a lot more fuel. And you know what, actually guys, the reason for that is probably because I didn't put an efficient enough engine on this little bit here. This engine, I think we went with the which one was it? We went with this one, this T30, and really and truthfully, if we wanted to have a more efficient engine, we should have gone with this T45, which has a lot, well, I would say it has a lot less. It's got a bit less thrust, but it's a lot more efficient. You see there, a smaller engine. That's really the one we should have gone with, and we could have probably got a little bit higher with a little bit more fuel. Another thing we could have done actually, which would have definitely got us to the moon for sure, is we could have added some more fuel tanks, like this, to this stage in particular. Yeah. It's gonna be tricky. Yeah, you can do it. I've done it. It's just awkward to. Yep, come on. Yep. There, perfect. I hate this. I really hate this. You know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna. We're not going to bother with that actually. We'll make a whole new rocket for going to the moon. There's no point retrofitting one we've already made. So yeah, that was the Orbiter 1. It got us into orbit. Not as successfully, but it did get us into orbit. So yeah, Kerbal Space Program. Hope that was okay for my second episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, favourite and subscribe. Drop a comment below. Avast, get out of here, we don't need you. And yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Goodbye.